Welcome back to the Scotti-BYTE channel, and this is Scott. Today the subject is something called Fresh RSS, and it's a RSS aggregator. So really simple syndication, otherwise known as RSS, is a web feed that allows users and applications to access updates to websites using a standardized format. Subscribing to RSS feeds can allow a user to track multiple websites in a single news aggregator. RSS feeds provide information such as blog entries, news, podcasts, and other media. FreshRSS is a web-based RSS web aggregator that we're going to run inside of Docker, and it provides a way to aggregate the information that you value and a way to consolidate it in a single web instance, and it even has multiple user accounts. So the good part about this particular application is that you don't have to install an RSS news aggregator on all of your devices since this is web-based. So let's go take a look at Fresh RSS. Here is the About screen for Fresh RSS, and as the author says, it's a self-hostable RSS aggregator and reader, and it's very simply installed in Docker Compose. If I click on the Fresh RSS logo up here, I go to the login screen, and I can go to my Bitwarden and log into it. Once I do so, you can see that all of my RSS feeds are listed here. I just created two categories. One is called Fresh RSS Updates, which simply has the most recent updates the program's had, and really it's a very simple program. Not much has been done in about the last year, but since it's web-based, it's really great. I created myself a category called Computer Goodies, and in Computer Goodies you can see that I have some of my favorite sites: Ars Technica, CNET, Engadget, Tom's Guide, and Tom's Hardware. So I can click on any particular RSS feed that I want, and you see the articles in the right hand side. And if I go click on an article, obviously it will go off and read it. And if it has any embedded graphics, you can see those as well. In the upper right hand corner of your screen, you have the control in order for the settings to come up, and you can go to your profile, and then you can go to configuration, reading, archiving, and so on. And then we can go to system administration, and that shows the overall configuration, which there's only one account created so far. I can go add users to the system. And adding a user, you can either make them an admin or not make them an admin, and they can have their own RSS feeds. The beauty behind this is that you can log into this thing from anywhere and examine your RSS feeds without having to load an RSS reader on each individual system that you use. They even have an installation checklist inside of the application. And the application is really a PHP application using PHP version 8.1. And they go down here and list all of the prerequisites. Although you shouldn't have any issues with those because we're going to install from a Docker Compose file, and it goes ahead and takes care of the installation for you quite easily. I like to create a LXD container even for my Docker applications, and so I'm doing a LXC launch Ubuntu :2204 Fresh RSS, and the profile default, and also my profile VLAN 80, which presents my application with an address out on my VLAN 80. I'm doing a boot.autostart equals to true, which causes this container to start anytime my LXD host boots, and a security.nesting equal to true, which is what allows me to put my Docker application inside of my LXD container. So I hit enter, and it says creating Fresh RSS, and now it's remapping the file system, and it is just that easy. Next, I enter the console of my new container with Alexi exec fresh RSS bosh, and then I'm going to do an apt update & apt upgrade -y to bring the container up to the current updates. Next, we install Docker from the script on the Docker website. Now we install Docker Compose with the sudo apt install docker-compose. I'm going to add a user account with an add user Scott. Give Scott a password. And then usermod -a g sudo Scott to put Scott in the sudo group, and then a usermod -a -g docker Scott to put Scott in the Docker group as well. Then we do an su over to -scott. Now we're logged into the Scott account. I typically like to make a folder for my Docker applications, so I'll make a folder called Fresh RSS with an makedir Fresh RSS, and I cd into Fresh RSS. Then I'm going to do a nano docker -compose.yml. And then we're going to put the Docker Compose file in here. It's simply the image, the container name. I happen to have the PUID and the GUID of the user that I created, Scott, and then the time zone, in my case, America/Chicago. Yours will be different. And then I have a volume ./config, and it points to config inside. And then port 80 is the port that is exposed. If you have a conflict because you have more than one Docker application running, you might want to change that port number on the left-hand side of the colon appropriately. So we go ahead and do a Control X, save the buffer, and exit the editor. And I simply do a docker space compose space up -d. The application is pretty simple. It goes out and pulls all of the container components, and it starts. Now I can exit out of the console with an exit command and exit out of the root account, and then I'm back at my desktop, which is my Alexi host in this particular case, and I can do Alexi list. The Alexi list command says that my address is 192.168.80.250. If I go to my web browser and go to that address, 192.168.80.250, it will bring up Fresh RSS, and it says, here's the installation, step 1. My language is English. I click submit, and it says, okay, it's up and running. So it says go to the next step. The next step is what type of database. It defaults as SQLite. I'm going to leave it as SQLite because I didn't install any other databases. And I do a submit, and it says, what do you want your user account to be for the default user? I'll go ahead and say Scott, and then you come down and provide Scott with an initial password, and I'll just give it the password 123456. Let's make that 7 since they say 7 characters, and I do a submit. And congratulations, the installation was successful, so I say complete installation. At this point, I can type Scott, and I can type 123456 and it logs into the Fresh RSS instance. The only stream that it has right now, or the only RSS subscription that it has right now, is the one for Fresh RSS. You can go to subscription management, and here's where you can either add categories or add RSS feeds. So we'll add a very simple feed here, https://www.tvfanatic.com, and I click the add button and it brings it up. You can optionally put a description in. It shows the feed RSS URL, and then we do a submit, and we simply have this new feed now, which I can go ahead and go back to my main screen, and you can see here that we have a TV Fanatic feed. We can go back and click any of those options and read the particular article. And the first user you add to this system is always an administrator. So if you go to the upper right hand corner and click the gear and go into system configuration, you can see that you have the ability to update the server URL. You can also change the name of your instance. You can manage your users, so you can create new or other users that can use the system as well and have their own RSS feeds. So in summary, self-hosters require up-to-date information on a variety of infrastructure and application implementation requirements. The Scotti-BYTE channel is a great place to get this information. Although a lot of times I think the Scotti-BYTE channel is the best kept secret out there because I can't seem to get lots of subscribers. So, however, RSS in general, and more specifically Fresh RSS, may be a valuable time saver in staying up to date on the latest information you need. In any event, thanks for listening today, and please subscribe and like to the channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.